"Nurse!" she cried out down the hall, her voice sounding small, from around the corner where I sat at my desk. Frustrated? Yeah, maybe, but more like irritated, because I have paperwork and charting to do. More responsibilities ensue that include the other 4 patients entrusted to my care. I looked at my watch. I knew why she begged, but it wasn't time to pass meds. I stood and sighed, 2 hours left of my shift, and my shoes felt so heavy, just bogged down from the miles of turning another's trials into smiles, and I made my way down the corridor to her door. I stopped just outside, prepared my game face, put a smile in the frowns place, and entered, preparing to entertain what must certainly be another request to subdue her pain. "Can I help you?" I said, and there she sat on her bed, her hands folded, bowed head, and she beckoned me nearer so that I could surely hear her, and she said to me, "Where do I go when I die?" I felt my breath stop. You could have heard a pin drop. That room was so quiet, as I had to search my mind for an answer. I mean, what do I say? Do I tell her it'll be okay? What if she asks me to pray? And how do I tell her about a God that I know, the God that I think I know, the God that I really don't know? Minutes aged, and still no words were exchanged. And then she reached out for my hand, as if to say, "I understand that this answer is bigger than both of us." I felt myself soften. In that moment of touch, our spirits shared so much, and it was like my mind just opened, and I knew exactly what to say. "Where do you want to go?" I replied. And she smiled. Her eyes danced wild like a small child, and I visibly witnessed a transformation that signaled the presence of peace. And in this moment was the first time I saw her. Beyond the diagnosis of the doctor, I saw this woman who had lived well into her 80s, who'd once had a husband and delivered 3 babies. This woman was somebody's grandma, cousin, sister, and friend, and she had every right to question what came after the end. And my role in that moment, it wasn't to preach, but to listen, because silence had something more important to teach. You see, we as nurses, we are charged, and we often get carried away with thinking we always have to know what to say. After all, we are the most trusted profession. Our patients hang on every word as we provide them with all kinds of education. So when it comes to matters of a spiritual nature, why does our knowledge lack and our confidence waver, and we find ourselves refusing to answer with tied tongues? Is it because deep down we fear sounding dumb? For the first time in my life, I remembered back to the times where there was joy and sadness, love and pain, and I thank God for His steadiness through wind and rain. And if the whole human race could just stop for one moment, just look around, then they would see that the God we're all searching for walks among you and me. As I knelt on the floor beside her, hand in hand as the silence came closer, I recognized the slowing of her breath. I bowed my head, and we waited for death. The thought of her departing, it brought tears to my eyes. "Hear me, Lord," my heart gave a cry. "Take this soul, I implore you. Reach out, draw her near." But the still small voice said, "My child, she is already here."